Voters on the island of Hawaii will cast their ballots in 2 races for County Council. The District 5 seat covers the area of Puna and portions of Keaʻau, and District 9 represents Kohala and sections of Waimea. Hear from the incumbents in each race and their challengers as they lay out their plans for their districts and the entire island. Tonight's broadcast and live stream of Insights on PBS Hawaii start now.
Aloha and welcome to Insights on PBS Hawaii. I'm Lauren Day. The island of Hawaii has the second highest population in the state. Residents are represented by 9 members on the Hawaii County Council who are elected to serve 2-year terms. Tonight, we're focusing on 2 districts on the general election ballot. Up first, District 5, which covers Upper Puna and portions of Keaʻau. We look forward to your participation in tonight's show. As a reminder, you can email or call in your questions, and you'll find a live stream of this program at pbshawaii.org and on the PBS Hawaii YouTube page. Now to our guests in studio, the candidates for the District 5 seat on the Hawaii County Council. We have incumbent Matt Kānealiʻi-Kleinfelder. He grew up in Puna and lives in Ola'a. He's a father of 3 children and a small business owner. After serving for the past 6 years, he's running for a 4th term in office. And Ikaika Rodenhurst is a Kamehameha School's Kapalama graduate. With a degree in civil engineering, he served for 2 years as head of the Department of Public Works under Hawaii County Mayor Mitch Roth. Ikaika lives in Puna with his wife and 3 children. Ikaika, you ran for the seat in 2020, so I'll start with you. Why run again?
Well, you know, I really love what Puna's about, and this is a place that I chose to raise my family. I just want to be out there to help guide our community forward and show up there and fight for our future and fight for our keiki.
And Matt, for you, what are you most proud of from your time in the seat, and why should voters re-elect you?
That's a good question, Lauren. I think just right off the bat, when I came into office, there were some major concerns: public safety, transportation, roads. In my first term, 2018, we got 10 new positions for our police force. So that's 10 more officers for our district in Puna specifically. And then I addressed the road situation. In our district, private roads really are the most roads that we have. And so a way for the county to maintain those roads had never existed. So I was able to pass historic legislation this year that enables the county to maintain private roadways, on top of a number of other projects. But that really was the big ones that the community wanted after listening sessions, and we got them done.
Why should voters re-elect you?
I think at this point, I have come to understand that the role of a council member is to understand our future and what's needed. And after being in for 6 years, what I realized is it is my duty to prep and get ready for the next 10 to 15 years, which is going to be huge for the District of Puna. So prepping projects, prepping infrastructure, making sure the funding is in place so that the next person coming in, whoever it may be, has a way to stand on what's been done the same way that I did and get things done for our future and for our keiki.
Ikaika, what do you feel is the single biggest issue facing your community, and why should voters elect you to tackle those issues?
Well, I'd say the first issue is roads. When we talk about roads, it's always about transportation. We have a lot of traffic coming in and out of Puna, and we have basically a Puna parade in the morning and the afternoon going in and out of town. What we need is alternate access. We need alternate access Mauka and Makai. And you know, my experience for over 12 years as an engineer working with infrastructure and my relationships with folks at DOT like Ed Sniffen and our legislative officials like Senator Richards, Rep. Chris Todd, Rep. Gregor Iligan, I think we can leverage that to make sure that those roads get done and move forward. But also, you know, Matt touched on this earlier, you know, the bill to allow the county to consider maintenance on our private roads is great, but it's a first step, and we need to move forward from there. We need to leverage federal funds and leverage our relationships with contractors locally to help make that thing happen. So I think there's more to be done, and we need a new road forward.
I'll let you both chime in on this, but Matt, you can go first. You know, you mentioned roads and public safety. Separate from those 2 topics, what else do you hear from your constituents that really mattered to them?
It's huge. Everything across the board, really. Puna really has never gotten what is needed. I think given my 6 years in office, that has really been able for Puna to solidify having a leader and to start getting the things done that haven't gotten done in years or decades, because we have a constant rollover of our elected officials in our district. And that really puts the community back because they don't have anyone to stand up for them. And so I mean, just having 3 terms, that was huge for the district of Puna. So going forward, I have a number of projects from a new Keaʻau Police and Fire Station and Community Center coming online, as well as alternate routes. And it's about listening and making the progress. And at this point, it's not what are you going to do so much, it's what have you done and what are you prepping for the next person.
Ikaika, you talked about roads. Are there other issues that you would want to tackle that you hear from your community members?
Yeah, I think the 3 main concerns in the community are they want a place to, they want to be able to put a roof over their heads, they want to put food on the table, and they want a future for their keiki. In our community, making sure that there's a path forward for our kids. Our community is the fastest growing community, not just in the county and the state, but in the nation, and we have more people moving in. And a lot of kids there, and we need to provide a future for them. So one of the things I want to do is connect them with mentors, coaches. I myself am a football coach and also coach health and wellness, and I want to make sure that we have those connections with our kids to give them a purpose and a path forward. So just really creating a future for our community to thrive and succeed.
I want to move to the topic of homelessness. It's a big problem across the state, especially here on Oahu, but this year's Point In report actually showed a decrease on Hawaii Island by 28%. How do the 2 of you feel that the council can help to keep that trend going in the right direction?
Well, I think the ability to support, us to be able to feed ourselves. I think our cost of living is really high, and so the ability to put food on the table, like I mentioned, would be tremendous. Supporting our local farmers, local access to food and food hubs would help keep people that are potentially homeless from becoming homeless, as well as enacting legislation that's going to help us get affordable housing and really help us house our people. Because one of the issues that we've seen, and it's been published in UHERO, is that the regulation has driven the cost of permitting about 58%. So we need to make sure that that gets reduced so we can afford to house our people, put a roof over our heads.
I think the cost of living is something that always gets brought up for everyone here in Hawaii. Matt, anything you'd want to add to that?
I think the decrease in homelessness is really due to the last 4 or 5 years of funding and nonprofit work and work done by the council and this administration to get to the root of the problem. And we have a number of nonprofits like Salvation Army, Hope Services, that have really taken the lead as far as getting folks sheltered, providing food, providing services. And our role as the council really is to make sure there's funding being appropriated to those different agencies where appropriate, and also to work with our police officers. And kudos to them, because they've done a tremendous amount of work in helping community, listening to the concerns of the community, but also getting folks into the nonprofits where they're needed. It's a big problem. It continues to be a problem. We have folks flying in from out of state with a one-way ticket. So there's a lot of things that need to be done to address our homeless situation, but I'm really proud of the work we've done so far in the past few years.
We just talked about homelessness, but right before that, both of you were talking about roads. So we have actually a viewer, Jeffrey from Volcano, wrote in and is asking, the State Highway 11 between Glenwood and Volcano Village is in deteriorating condition. What can you do as a county councilman to influence the state to get that highway improved?
If I can I start on this one?
Sure.
Thank you. So state, it's important to note, Highway 11 and Highway 130 are state highways. So the county and state each have their own jurisdiction. So I'm saying that because we're the county and they're the state. We have a good relationship. But the reality is when we as county council members and people in the county want to address our state roads, we need to work well with our elected officials at the state level, as well as some of the folks at the higher level being Ed Sniffy and Josh Green. So just last week, we actually met with our administration and a number of representatives and senators to discuss what's needed. And I'm really pleased by that conversation, because coming out of it, we're looking at a town hall to address Highway 11, specifically alternate routes in the area, as well as get some work done. I think even having a visit from Director Ed Sniffin to really get a feel for what's going on in our area. It's a huge road, it's a huge highway, it's a huge district. And it also is the corridor to Volcano National Park, as well as the way home for all of our residents. So much work needed, state jurisdiction. So I'll leave it right there.
Ikaika, anything you would want to weigh in if elected? How would you work with the state to help maybe make some influence there?
And you know, I would just highlight that my relationships with Ed Sniffin, District Engineer Harry Takiue, also working with our legislative officials in that area. You got Chris Todd on one side, Janae Capella on the other. Gregor Iligan is also very close on the 130 side. But happy to work with them and making sure that these kind of fixes are done and leveraging relationships and connecting people. I think that's what part of being a council member is advocating and listening to the needs of the community and advocating as a leader to other leaders on, hey, this is something that's going on. We need to do something about this together as a group. And so I think that's something we definitely can do, working with Ed, working with the guys, boots on the ground to make it happen. So.
We have a viewer from District 5 who's asking about both of your stances on the film and television industry when it comes to the Big Island. So this viewer is asking, the film and television industry has proven to be a multi-million-dollar industry and economic driver for the state, yet Hawaii County currently lacks the infrastructure to attract and retain major movies and TV productions. What would your plan of action look like to help the county develop a film studio?
I mean, I don't mind taking that one first. You know, I think that's a great question. I really appreciate that. You know, the film industry definitely does bring a lot of attention to Hawaii. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful places in the world and some of the most beautiful people in the world. I think it would be a great alternative to tourism as a generator to our economy, but it's also respectful at times and making sure it's respectful to our local people. But definitely want to support a film studio on island. There's a lot of local talent that can showcase our culture and showcase some of the things that our community is working on. There's been a tremendous increase in local actors willing to get involved in local projects coming to Hawaii. And if we can capitalize on that and provide opportunities for them, I think that's a growing industry for our island and for the state that would be good for everybody.
Matt, and did you want to chime in on that?
I did, actually. I want to say hi to Jordan Brooks. That is the one writing in that question, and he and I spoke on the phone about 3 days ago. He said, I'm going to ask this question on TV, so you better ready to answer.
It was anonymous, so you just called that person.
Sorry, I know exactly who you are, Jordan.
It's
wonderful to hear from you.
Community.
It is a small community. He lives in my district, right below my house. Great guy, good family. What he's speaking to, though, is can we build the film industry in Hawaii and drive up some of that economic value for our residents? And I love the idea because tied in with workforce development, tied in with our school system, which was my suggestions to him, is let's talk to UHH, let's talk to HCC, let's talk to our high schools. And let's see if we can get some kids interested in this and get them developing and working through what it would be like to be in the film industry. And then drawing in some attention from people like Jason Momoa and getting them to come here instead of other places in the world, because we are incredibly unique and beautiful. And we offer so many different backgrounds and scenery and such a beautiful place. So why not come here? And there's a few pieces of that, you know, tax credits for film industry and working with our local, you know, our local entrepreneurs, as well as getting the right things done in government, which is our Department of Research and Development, and working with them to see what we can do to help that industry along.
I have two questions. Same question, actually. Both of you at the start talked about how roads is the biggest issue facing residents in Puna. So we're going back to that topic because it is an important question that two people want answers to. Philip from Volcano and David from Hilo, both asking, what do you think about using Railroad Ave as a second road to Puna? And then Philip is asking, why can't we extend Railroad Ave from Hilo to Hawaii Paradise Park?
I appreciate the question, Philip and David. Mahalo for that. You know, I think it is an opportunity. I think it is a possible location. I know we've had some back and forth on that in the past. Right now, they're going through a road study to determine where's the most effective location for this, because we're talking transportation. Let's let the engineers go in there, do their job, see what's best, see what's economically best, and what really is going to meet the needs of our community. Let's take a time to do that and then move that forward into a design and then move that forward into construction. So I think railroad is a possibility and it is an option we should consider.
Where do the two of you stand on short-term vacation rentals? Because there's been a recent push by the council to rein those in.
Can I actually, I want to go back to the previous question.
Sure.
Can I? Because it really is one of my long-standing issues that I've been addressing slowly by slowly. But Railroad Avenue isn't in District 5. So I think what those two questions are driving at actually is, can we help decrease the traffic on Puna stretch, which is a portion of Highway 11? That really, to me, is the pinch point. No matter what we do, until we are rerouting traffic away from Highway 11 in Upper Puna or Highway 130 in Lower Puna, and we can get that traffic off of Puna stretch, which is where all of us are congested, and everybody knows that. And there's been a number of infrastructure things that have happened that have actually made it worse. Until we can address those, nothing's gonna happen to better our traffic situation. So for me, Upper Puna needs an alternate route to Saddle Road. That's something I've discussed with Ed Sniffen and our state reps. That actually decreases traffic on Puna stretch and decreases our response time for our first responders to and from the hospital and to and from our major town centership in Hilo. That to me is major. The Railroad Avenue project has great benefit, except there's differing points of view on where that road should land, and a lot of that is from our Hawaiian homesteads. They don't want it to land on Railroad Avenue because that's the beginning of Hawaiian homes in Hilo on Puna stretch. So it needs to be done very carefully, but I really would, because we're talking about District 5 tonight, I appreciate the question, but we really need to focus on District 5, which goes from Keaʻau to Volcano now. And a bypass road or an alternate route in Upper Puna would do such tremendous positive changes for our district as a whole, for traffic and for public safety.
I want to add one thing to that. I think that's just leaving out a lot of our community that's in Orkalana State, that's in Ainaloa, that use 130, and it's an important route for them. So they do need alternate access over there as well. So I understand that's Matt's opinion on that, but District 5 does include Ainaloa, Orkalana States, Ola'a in between of 130 and Highway 11. I don't want to exclude them for that. So I think we do need to consider railroad, and we're talking about Hawaiian homelands in Hilo, but we also got to talk about Hawaiian homelands in Puna as well. I mean, we've got some Hawaiian homes in Maku area that folks want that access as well. So we gotta balance both options and work together as a community for that, I think.
It's very clear and apparent that transportation, the congestion, is a big issue for residents in that community. If we're good to move on, and we only have 10 more minutes, so I want to make sure we get to a couple other topics. Let's move to the hot topic of short-term vacation rentals. Where do the two of you stand on that issue?
Yeah, I can go first. We're actually hearing a bill right now in County Council for short-term vacation rentals. And it's in committee level. And actually, the first thing I walked into, the first bill I remember hearing in council in 2018 was the short-term vacation rental bill. And it was brand new to me. It was brand new to the community. And it was very contentious. And so to be back at the same subject again 6 years later with a bill that really redefined short-term vacation rentals, and there's people on both sides of the fence on this. I think the biggest discussion points are, how does it benefit local residents, and how do we make sure that our residents have a place to live? Because with short-term vacation rentals becomes, this global ability for people to invest in Hawaii that does not make our market affordable for local residents. But on the other hand, you also have residents who utilize short-term vacation rentals as a way to make extra income. So this is a really fine balance to me. But interestingly enough, there's a Supreme Court case that was finalized, and the opinion was put out by the courts, I think it was Tuesday. And that is just clarifying that short-term vacation rentals cannot happen on state land use ag. So, I mean, for us in Puna, that means that almost our entire district, you can't have a short-term vacation rental unless you're already in the non-conforming use program. So that to me is, we can have this discussion, But it is really important for all of us to understand that if you're on state-zoned ag lands, there's different layers of zoning. You have state zoning and you have county zoning. State-zoned ag, you can have a farm dwelling because the purpose is agricultural. But the short-term vacation rental bill, I mean, what I'm balancing here is how it affects the residents in Puna, as well as how it affects residents in areas like Kona and Hilo, Hawaiian Paradise Park, where you have a lot of short-term vacation rentals. It's a really interesting subject. The bill's in committee right now. There's another bill regarding ADUs or accessory dwelling units that's being heard at the same time. It actually just passed. So it's actually very complex. And I would urge anyone who's interested in this subject to really dive in. Sorry, I don't want to take too much time.
Ikaika, anything you want to add to that? Is this an issue for your residents and neighbors that you talk to?
It definitely is. You know, as Matt mentioned, on this past Tuesday, had the Supreme Court ruling that on ag, state zone ag, that you can't have STVRs. I think one of, well, actually, there's two things that it touches to. One is the cost of living, because our cost of living is so high. You have farmers whose real goal is to produce food for the community and produce, opportunity for the community. They're struggling to get by, and they're using STVRs, some of them, to supplement their income so they can survive. Now this threatens their ability to stay there. And that really goes into the second part, which is affordable housing and availability for affordable housing. So now you have folks that may not be able to afford their house anymore because this STVR is not there. But now that you have STVRs restricted, you open up some more inventory for long-term rentals. And it is really a balancing act. I think we need to address that cost of living piece so we can make it affordable to live in Hawaii, but also affordable to produce food in Hawaii. I mean, a lot of these farmers aren't in it to make a ton of money. They're in it to produce food for their families, produce food for their communities. And I really want to support those people. There's a lot of longtime ranchers, longtime farmers that are going to be put at risk because of this.
How do the two of you feel as councilmen, if elected, you can address the cost of living here in Hawaii and making it more affordable for the residents in your district?
I feel good about it. I mean, honestly, I got 3 kids. I got a 17-year-old daughter about to graduate high school, 19-year-old in the trades, and then a 26-year-old daughter in our police department. So I'm watching them and I'm realizing just what it takes to survive. I mean, my wife and I own a small business, and you said that in the beginning. Thank you, Liko Lehua. Can't miss the plug. But it's incredibly hard to live in Hawaii. You have to have 2 to 3 jobs. Most everybody I know, even me, has 2 to 3 jobs. You finish one job, you go to the next, you try and cut your grass on the weekends, and you're doing work while you're in the car on the way home. I mean, that's the reality of life. And there's a lot that needs to be done. It's a huge subject, and it's not as simple as we're going to lower property taxes or we're going to do this or that. I think for one, it's educating our keiki. It's supporting anything local where we can decrease costs and better our economy locally. It's just such a broad subject. I mean, it even touches on housing, making sure we have affordable housing. It touches on short-term vacation rentals. It's a big subject.
It's a question I know that you guys can't answer in just the short time that we have together.
I'd be happy to give it a shot. I think it takes leadership with integrity, with compassion, with commitment. It's a problem we all face locally, in the county level, state level, federal level. So let's work together. Let's make it a kākau effort. We're all in this together, and the only way we're going to get out of this is together. So I want to leverage relationships that I have with state officials, with government officials in the county administration. It doesn't matter what mayor, what legislative official, whether it's federal, state, county, I will be there. I'll be right at their doorstep if I have to. I'm not going to wait for a phone. I'm not going to wait for a text. I'm not going to wait for an email. If they don't answer, I'll be there.
I want to give you both an opportunity. I know, Ikaika, you just kind of did, but in 30 seconds, why should voters elect the two of you?
I go first?
Matt, why don't you go?
I'm 6 years in. I have learned a tremendous amount. I have come to understand that my responsibility is to prep and get ready for the next 10, 20 years. It takes a unique experience, and it takes a unique experience in life to understand what's needed and where we need to go. And I think having kids really does teach you what you have to do as an adult and a leader in your household. And so given this year's election, I hope to be back in. I got a number of projects I want to wrap up and start for the next person coming in, whoever that may be.
And Ikaika, anything you'd like to add to what you just said?
Just want to add that I'm a father, I'm a coach, I'm an engineer. I have over 12 years experience working in infrastructure projects with various levels of government. I've worked with many of these legislative officials, many of these administrative officials, whether it be state, county, or federal government. I have a lot of the skills, a lot of the knowledge, and a lot of the experiences to move this forward. And I think that we need to work together. Our leaders need to listen. Our leaders need to show up. Our leaders need to advocate. It's not our problem. It's everyone's problem. We got to work together to get it. Like I said, we're all in this together, and the only way we're going to get out of this is together. So.
Really quickly, let's end on a quick fun note. Go-to plate lunch.
Go-to plate lunch. Ooh, garlic shrimp, rice salad.
It's a hard-hitting question.
Oh man, I don't even play lunch that much anymore, but I would say loco moco.
Good answers. We want to thank our guests in studio, the candidates for the District 5 seat on the Hawaii County Council. We have Ikaika Rodenhurst and Matt Kānealiʻi-Kleinfelder. As we get ready for our next featured race, the Council District 9 seat, please enjoy this Hiki no story from Hawaii Preparatory Academy.
I would love for you guys, the next generation, to be comfortable on the land.
On the island of Hawaii, north of Waimea, a local teacher has been working to preserve Hawaiian traditional farming methods and also seeks to share this mindset with the next generation.
My profession is about sharing what I learn, I think, from the land. And the thing that I enjoy the most is when you guys come. I get more hands to help with the work, and I like to learn from you guys too.
Kuma Marshall began her journey unaware of the specific cultural practices pertaining to sustainable farming. Specifically, farming dryland crops with just one water source, the rain. Now, Kuma Marshall works for Ulu Ma'apuanui, a non-profit organization focused on the research and understanding of Hawaiian rain-fed farming methods.
When I first started working here, I did not know about this part of my history. And I came from a background of teaching, and I was teaching in a culturally grounded school, and I did not know this piece of my culture. So when I learned about it, I thought, okay, here's a kuleana I think I need to take on and share with more people.
At its peak, this farmland was 25 square miles, which is around 11,000 football fields in size. Over many generations, the people learned to grow crops such as sweet potatoes and sugarcane. Farming the land was challenging, but this rain-fed farmland fed upwards of 130,000 Hawaiians prior to European contact in the late 1700s. Students who visit Ulu Ma'apuanui get a hands-on education through working and engaging with the Hawaiian culture with unique farming practices and growing plants like the past generations.
It was hard to climb up, but the scenery was so beautiful, and also fun to learn about Hawaiian language.
What I got from this experience was an expanded knowledge and connection to my Hawaiian roots. We learned about the methods passed down from our ancestors. It was both eye-opening and inspired me to take a more sustainable path similar to Ulu Ma'apuanui's.
Through her work, Kumu Keaʻau seeks to help future generations to connect to the land.
And I want you guys to understand it's a privilege, and that it's a matter of reciprocity where you give and you get and you get and you give. It's a give and take. And I want it just to be natural for you guys. I don't want it to be a job for you guys.
This is Lorenza Torres from Summer at HBA for Hiki no on PBS HAWAIʻI.
And welcome back now to the race for the District 9 seat on the Hawaii County Council. This area includes Kohala and portions of Waimea. James Hustace was born on Oahu but grew up on a small farm in Waimea. After graduating from Hawaii Preparatory Academy, he went on to earn a master's degree in public administration. He's a certified art appraiser working with his father in their family business. And we also have incumbent Cindy Evans. She has lived in Kohala for nearly 30 years. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, and prior to being elected to the council, she served in the State House of Representatives for 16 years, rising to the position of majority leader. Cindy, I'll start with you. After serving in the State House and now the County Council, why run for re-election?
Well, my district needs a lot to be done. And what I learned is when you're at the very end of the island, the farthest, I believe, from Hilo, which is the center of government, county government is in Hilo, that to get services out, what I call, if you can get government services at the most remote area on the island, then I feel like I've succeeded. And I feel very strongly that I'm moving in that direction, and I want to continue moving in that direction because you have to be very strategic, and it takes one step at a time, and it can take many years to get things done. And that is, I feel very strongly that I've got momentum and I want to keep going.
What are you most proud of from your time in the seat?
I think I'm proud of bringing attention to the people in Hilo as to this district and what the district needs are. When I first got in, I realized that our seniors out at the end of the island were not getting their fair share, and why. It's because the people in Hilo, a lot of the people in Hilo did not understand some of the concerns and issues of the seniors. So bringing their voice, bringing voice to the agricultural farming community, bringing voices to small businesses, continuing to take that strong voice into Hilo and to the seat of government, and really raising the consciousness, I believe, of the administrators and the people that are running the different departments. I think that's been my goal, and I think I'm succeeding.
James, you led the vote count in the primary election. For you, why run?
You know, as you've heard a little bit, North Kohala and South Kohala are very unique communities, very diverse communities, a lot of needs and issues that need to be addressed. And when I returned from college to Hawaii Island, I got involved with the community in a number of different volunteer efforts, many of at the same time. And you know, working with Kupuna, our elders in the community, those that had the experience, really guided me in this direction and wanted me to help the community move forward. A lot of the challenges that were addressed in the past, we need to keep continuing to work together and find a solution together.
You know, we just had District 5 on. The single biggest issue that came up was transportation, roads. What do the two of you feel is the single biggest, most important issue to your constituents in your district? You know,
and this is, I've heard a number of the issues from a lot of the state leaders and the county council members, mayoral candidates as well. It's, you know, cost of living, affordability in our communities is really the biggest issue, and a lot of that has to do with our housing challenges. But infrastructure and our roads, our water, our wastewater systems need to be a part of that conversation. So yes, we're pushing on affordable housing projects. Yes, we're working on ways to find and reduce the affordability, you know, reduce the cost of living and have more affordable community for our residents in the islands. But part of that conversation has to be about, you know, our roads, our water systems, to ensure that our communities have the capacity now. We're having issues in our communities where we're not meeting that capacity. We have reservoirs that have not been fixed since 2006, so we need to address those issues so that that we have that water capacity for our community now, and then moving forward.
Cindy, what would you like to add? I know you touched on not enough resources for our kupuna in your district.
I think the biggest issue is the fear that is rising in my district, that the community that they grew up in the lifestyle, the country lifestyle, the beautiful lifestyle of living some of the best beaches that we have in this gorgeous Paniolo lifestyle, in the farming, this huge farming community. And people want to keep country. And so what's happening is people are there's starting to be this rise of fear because it looks like we might get into what's called gentrification. So we're having a bunch of affluent people coming into the district and buying, and what they're doing is they're increasing the price of housing, which is now going to raise the taxes on our local people. So yes, we can talk about roads, but roads are because it's growing, because people are moving in. Yes, we need a lot of more government services, but that's because we now have more and more people coming in. But I'm calling it post-pandemic. Because what happened is the people on the West Coast, we have people coming in from Los Angeles, from San Diego, from San Francisco, from Seattle, from Portland. Why? Because when COVID came, they learned quickly that they could work wherever they wanted, and they could zoom in and use the computer, and all of a sudden, why wouldn't you want to live in Hawaii? And it's not that far of a flight to the West Coast. So my district is really popular, and people want to live there. My community wants to keep the country and the lifestyle. So that's the biggest challenge.
We also need to talk about roads a little bit too, because we look at Waikoloa Village. This area is projected to grow tremendously in the next 5 to 10 years. And we have not met the promises set out in the community development plan over 30 years to ensure safety for community members in there. The county just broke ground for an affordable housing project. That's fantastic for local residents. But we also need to ensure that those residents at the north end of the village have a way to escape, and that's going to have to be done through a private-public partnership. We have to work with our state partners to ensure an access point on Queen Kahumanu Highway. But these are things that have not yet been tackled, and that community is growing and growing, and those affordable housing units are coming in, and there are other luxury homes coming in, but we need to address those critical infrastructure pieces that are going to make those communities safe, especially in our leeward communities that are extremely fire prone.
Patty from Waimea wrote in and she's asking, Hawaii County Council for District 9, north to South Kohala, is very large with 6 distinct, unique communities, Waimea, Waikoloa, Puako. She lists all of them. Why do you think you're the best suited to support and advocate for their diverse needs, issues, and opportunities?
You know, because of the unique communities we have, the diverse need, we need strong leadership on the council that's going to be able to connect a lot of these different voices and be, not afraid, but we're willing to go into the community, partner with people to tackle these tough questions, these big questions, whether it's about these wastewater challenges we have, whether it's about ag water, potable water in our communities, whether it's about roads. We need someone to go in there and connect these pieces and also be that communicator out to the community as well. When we have disaster events, when we have issues in the community, that information is disseminated in partnership with our administrative offices.
Cindy, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add in. I worked in state government for many years and worked across, actually it was the state of Washington, and worked across the state of Washington. And I learned an awful lot about how you find common issues, but more importantly, how you work with each one of those communities, set priorities, and then you work with everybody understanding that the pie is only this big. And so you have to learn how to work with everybody, and all of us understanding that to succeed, sometimes we have to take our turn. And so it's those conversations with the leaders in the community saying, yes, we need roads. They're very important. Well, guess what road is the most important road right now? The one in Waikoloa, the one that we just were talking about, the one that needs this emergency access road. And everybody in the community understanding that there's only so much money that's given by the federal government, by the state government. And so we have to be in it together. We're one ohana. So I think that that's a skill set that I bring. I have done this before, and I feel like I'm getting there and I'm working that way. Thank you.
Damon is asking, what do you think of the recent court ruling regarding short-term rentals and ag lots? I know this is a hot topic for many Hawaii communities.
It's a big challenge, and we heard from the candidates running for Council 5 as well on the topic too. We need to find that balance for our community. There are residents that depend on short-term vacation rentals for their livelihood because it's this cost of living challenge. And yes, we're going to have to deal with that new ruling and see how that affects a lot of it. It's kind of this ripple effect across our community. But finding that balance, some community members don't want short-term vacation rentals, and the council's hearing that and having those discussions right now. with 3 different bills moving forward. One has passed on ADUs, but that's really finding the balance in that community is really the ultimate piece of these people need that extra income to be able to afford their life here in Hawaii.
Cindy, what have you heard from constituents on the short-term vacation rental topic?
Well, it's complicated because for many people it's been their bread and butter and what's helped them be able to survive here. And then there's other communities that have been inundated with late night parties, the inability to park their cars on their street because of the tourists, everybody having a car, their whole lifestyle being turned upside down. So you have this, how do you solve that? But I do want to answer that one question about the recent ruling. I think, you have to deal with the cards that are dealt with you. I think we need to have our state legislatures step up and look at ag tourism, bed and breakfast, find the ways, lodgings, resorts. There's other things in our state laws that we can help farmers because farmers, it's so hard to make money just on farming. So working with the ag community and giving them possible tools, but I think there's ways to do it, and that law that ruling may sit, but there is, I think, other avenues. We have to be creative is where I see we need to go.
But those conversations really have to be had with our farmers and ranchers. I mean, we're looking at another bill that's moving through the council on ag property taxes, and that's really going to threaten some of our subsistence farmers. It's going to threaten our mom and pop communities where they have maybe they're feeding their family, and if they can't show a bill of sale or they can't show a certain value, they're going to be, they're not going to be able to claim that exemption on ag property. So that's a big challenge also. So it's really, these conversations are about going into the community, talking to people that are actually, tilling the soil, they're working the fields, that they're actually, have their hands dirty and know the consequences of how this is going to affect them.
Mm-hmm. I want to move to a different topic. Act 125 was passed back in 2017, which requires the replacement of all cesspools by the year 2050. But there are about 50,000 cesspools on the Big Island, and conversion is expensive. So how should the county help residents who might not be able to afford that?
We look at Puako as one of our key examples in South Kohala on the west side of Hawaii Island, where sea level, a lot of those homes, a lot of the septic systems and leach fields are at or below sea level. So a lot of that's moving out into that coral reef system. And we as a county need to take on this priority and help find mechanisms to help convert systems with the community. There are plans moving through the administration for mitigation, and that really we need to find that mechanism to fund those projects, whether it's with our strong bond rating of Hawaii County, or we're going to have to go out and see what the community is able to afford. But that's a big challenge, and there are different systems that are applicable within that plan, and we need to have those conversations with the community about what is feasible in certain areas. I mean, we have our Mauka portions that maybe those are the lower priority areas, and the community may understand that. But these coastal areas we need to tackle, and we need to work with our state partners and also our federal partners. If these mandates and these things are moving down from the upper levels, we need to find that collective agreement and fund these projects.
I have a little bit of a different take on it. This is about saving the environment, and I think that our congressional delegation really has to step up their game, and I've talked to Brian Schatz about this. EPA years ago used to fund people getting off cesspools onto sewage treatment plants because this is not a new issue. This is around the United States for many years. The thing is that if the mandate's coming down from EPA and the state government, the state legislature is saying we've got to do this, then guess what? They have to be at the table and play. And so I see the EPA having zero interest loan, payback periods for 40 years. I see the state government giving income tax credit for people that have to put them in, because some of these sewage treatment, I mean, it's great to have sewage treatment plants, but that's only when you have a lot of homes collectively together. But we are so spread out, especially in my district, it's really hard to do these sewage treatment plants. The other thing is I'm looking at is how do we give potentially a small tax credit from the county, which we can do against real property taxes if people have to do this. So, I mean, you have to incentivize. It's a little bit, we're kind of in the same situation as when we were trying to push people to going solar. We kept giving them incentives and tax credits and keep trying to move people. You know, we have to do it and continue to do it, but it's going to definitely be through incentives, as I see the answer.
There's also one possibility too. If you look at the Puako example, for instance, we need to build that public-private partnership. There, we have the resort communities there. They have those treatment facilities. We need to look as a county to how we can link and connect to those pieces rather than building out a whole new system. They're already there, they exist, so we need to really work on that, see what's possible for those communities.
I want to move to the topic of, I guess, natural disasters. On the day of the Lahaina tragedy, there were a number of fires burning on the Big Island. Do you feel that the county has done enough as far as prepping because of that to prepare for, God forbid, something else happen on the Big Island?
Well, my take on it is you learn from every time there's a disaster. Because anybody who's lived here knowing, we had the 40-day, 40-night flood, we've had earthquakes, we've had wildfires, horrible stuff has happened in Hawaii, and every time it happens we get a little bit better, we get lessons learned. Now we're moving towards drones, we're moving towards AI, we're moving to understanding the need for having better incident command posts. And so what I'm seeing, and I'm so happy with our fire department and our civil defense, is they're continuing to learn from the Lahaina fire how they can do better. And I think that the council is going to be supportive of initiatives that they're going to come and bring to us. And I actually have an initiative that's coming in front of the council, and that's what I want to do, a radio plan to make sure that the last, if everything goes out, no electricity, what could people do? They could go to their car, turn on the radio. So I'm trying to figure out how we can get the ham radio operators as well as our local radio stations to be part of the solution. And it'll never be, we'll like I said, we're going to learn every single time, and we'll keep getting better. But it takes a community. It takes each one of us to be individually prepared, do defensible spaces, make sure that we do things around our house so that we can maybe stay in place. Because getting out on the road, everybody getting out on the roads at the same time creates traffic jams, and it can be very, very dangerous.
Mm-hmm. We definitely have more work to do, though. I think there's opportunities to expand and improve our emergency services, especially in our leeward communities. You look at Waikoloa Village, for example. We still do not have emergency sirens in those communities. Yes, maybe they're used for particular instances, but that community of all places in our leeward communities is really at risk there. Mm-hmm. And we need to push on that. We need to work with our civil defense administrators to ensure those things are installed. Part of that conversation, again, is about moving forward on a second access road for Waikoloa Village. We also have, as Cindy mentioned, we have a lot of community resilience. We have our resilience hubs that have been stood up across the district, across the county, and I give a lot of credit to those individuals that are doing that volunteer work in our community to help educate our residents about emergency kits, go bags, signing up for NICS alerts, all these different things that can help educate and be a part of that process as we, create resilient communities.
And Cindy, I do have a follow-up for you since you were in the seat. Do you feel like specifically when it comes for wildfires, do you feel like the county has implemented enough change to address the wildfire threat to the island?
I think right now the good news is they're looking at installing cameras. Like I said, the AI and the new technology, I've had many conversations about embracing new technology. These cameras, if they're installed in the right places, can detect smoke. Yes, I think our fire department is really dedicated. They're going to conferences, they're talking to the other fire chiefs. Our fire chief is talking to the other fire chiefs on the other islands. I think everybody is, our Attorney General for the state of Hawaii a couple weeks ago just did her final report. They did an investigation on the Lahaina fire, and I saw in that report there's a lot of recommendations, a lot of lessons learned, and I think we're going to see probably more change than we've ever seen.
And I'll just add one thing if you don't mind. You know, a lot of the areas in our communities on the west side of the island, we've seen you know, either a misuse or lack of use of a lot of the agricultural lands that surround these communities. So these have been a mismanagement or you know, less interest in properly managing these spaces. I was in a meeting earlier today. They were talking about, you know, this relationship between our fire-prone areas and what damage that does there to the soil and the, you know, the topsoil, and then the loss through rains that follow, and that topsoil and the soil that's washing out and also damaging our coral reef systems along the coast there. So those kind of conversations need to be happening about proper land management around our communities on West Hawaii.
Let's move to the topic of affordable housing. No surprise, this is the #1 issue for most residents here in Hawaii, the extreme cost of living. Patty from Waimea is asking, please share your views on affordable housing. How you have been or will address this in ways that will actually serve the needs of District 9 constituents and actually all of the residents of Hawaii Island. Cindy, do you want to go first?
Yeah, thank you. Part of the issue with affordable housing is the wages that are being paid. And so one of the things I've always felt about our island is how we're going to diversify the economy. I do believe there is a way of really increasing the research and innovation and higher education, for example. I think the investment by the county in working with our agricultural and our farmers to make sure that they can get their products to market, and that the government is buying local. And so we have really been focusing on food hubs. It's because you can't sell if there's quantity and consistent quantity. And I think our hotel industry, our tourist industry, and our arts and culture, the film industry, you heard that. I think that we have to give hope to our children that when they come out of school, that there's jobs that pay pretty well for them. The other thing is, as we develop subdivisions and housing, making sure that we're building the affordable housing, the products, right? And that's one of the problems I'm having right now in the district that I live in. It seems that we're building homes that are between 800,000 and 2 million. That's not affordable for families that are living in the community. So what happens is they have to commute distances, and what does that do? It's creating traffic jams, and now people are getting upset because we're having these traffic jams, but a big part of it is because they have to live somewhere else and commute into the district.
And so one of those solutions is like that workforce housing project that the county just broke ground on, where people are regionally tied to that area. They can live and work within a certain radius. You know, so it's really supporting a lot of different mechanisms across affordable housing. You know, we have our workforce housing. We also have some great projects on self-help housing with HICDC, both in North Kohala and South Kohala. So these are projects that local residents need to be there for a long duration, build out that community, and then be able to move in there. We also need to work on looking at our vacant home inventory and see how, as a community, and support community members to bring those back up to code and be able to rent those out to the community. There's also opportunities with land trusts in the community and working with those groups to be able to bring affordable housing to the community without that added cost of land on top of everything else.
Unfortunately, we're winding down on time. I know it goes fast. I want to give you both the opportunity to share why voters should vote for you. One final push. James, I'll let you go first. You know, if elected, what would you like to do in your first 100 days in office, let's say?
Well, thank you for having us, first of all. It's been a pleasure to be here. And it's really important to, as I mentioned early on, to have that strong leadership in the community, to be able to bring technical skills that I've learned and been honored to work with community members to the council level and work on projects, hard projects with the community, build that partnership, that I've had positive relationships with all these different volunteer efforts, and really push forward on different ideas, for the benefit of the community, for our kapuna, for the keiki, a lot of these park issues we need to tackle together. So there's a lot we need to do across Hawaii Island.
And Cindy, for you, if reelected, what would you like to continue and why should voters vote for you?
Okay, so just to let you know how I operate, my community identifies the issues that are important to them, and I feel it's my job to really work on them. So since I've been there, I work on them one at a time. Digital literacy, cell towers, animal control, barking dogs, dangerous dogs, fire, wildfire, emergency access, sirens. Those issues come in front of me, and I will tell you that every single day I wake up, I am committed to my community to do what I have to do in my position and use all the skill sets that I know to develop the strategy, to develop the relationships to get results. And I think I am effective, and I think that there's so much to be done. Right now, a big issue for me is just making government transparent. I want my community to know what government is doing for them in my community. So thank you.
I want to end on a fun note. I know you heard the question from the last candidates, but go-to plate lunch. Cindy, you go first.
Go-to plate lunch. Oh, if I have a choice, it's always got to be Korean.
Ooh, I'm with you on that. I love Korean food. And James, what about you?
Let's go with mochiko chicken tonight.
That's a good one too. All right. Well, thank you both for coming into our studio. We also want to thank our viewers who tuned in and our guests here. Of course, the candidates for the District 9 seat on the Hawaii County Council. We have Cindy Evans and James Hustace. Next week on Insights, it can be one of the most confusing and unexpected sections on the general election ballot. We'll be discussing the various charter amendments facing the counties and the 2 state constitutional amendments. Please join us then. I'm Lauren Day for Insights on PBS Hawaii. Aloha.
Local broadcasts of Insights on PBS Hawaii are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo.